despite it being pretty much all of my free time nowadays, my first impressions of League of Legends was indifferent, really. I mean, I was interested in the game, and a lot of people were talking about it. I first heard about it probably when I was back in community college, and it certainly looked like an interesting game. There was a lot of lore, there was a lot of characters, the gameplay looked decent, but I just wasn't really interested in playing it at the time. Especially since I had a Mac, and the Mac client for League of Legends wasn't released at the time I heard about it, so I was never really bothered with going ahead and downloading the boot camp from my Mac so I can play it. I didn't start playing League of Legends until Comic Foil and Nameless Nick introduced me to it once the Mac client came out. Well, not really introduced me to it, but rather, once the Mac client came out, they decided, okay, let's get together and teach me how to play the game. So I buckled down and I picked Ashe, one of the champions, and honestly, when I started playing it, I couldn't stop. I was actually pleasantly surprised that League of Legends was catching my attention really well, because, well, first of all, I wasn't really much of a PC gamer at the time. I was still really into consoles, and I think the game that I was really into when it came to PC gaming at the time was Team Fortress 2, which I'm still playing nowadays, but once I started playing League of Legends, it pretty much swallowed up my life at that point. What I like about League of Legends really is, well, first of all, the gameplay is, okay, it's not simple and it's not easy, but once you get it, you get it, and there's really a lot of skill involved in playing that game, and it's really really satisfying once you get up to the professional levels. Well, not professional, but, you know, experienced levels. And you're able to take down opponents that were eventually better than you, and, you know, things like that. Another thing I like about the game is pretty much the aesthetic. I mean, first of all, the wide array of champions is extremely impressive. If you can think of some sort of character trope, it's probably there. And what I like about it is that the guys at Riot really didn't have to do it, but they put so much effort into the lore of League of Legends. There are stories and characters and backgrounds and just everything you can imagine, and frankly, the story of Valoran and the whole realm of Runeterra is absolutely amazing. In terms of playing the game itself, again, like I said, it's not that easy, but once you get it, you get it. That being said, if you're going to start playing League of Legends, you better be prepared to suck, because the learning curve is extremely steep, and it's a bit of a shame because the community of League of Legends is very unforgiving to newcomers, because no matter what, you're going to get killed a lot when you start off, and more often than not, other players are going to be like, oh, you suck, oh, you don't play this game, and whatnot. And frankly, that's one of the biggest problems I have with League of Legends. I mean, yeah, League of Legends may be one of my favorite games of all time. Those of you who watch my videos know that pretty well. But yeah, I do have an issue with League of Legends, and that's mainly from the community. It's a very unforgiving and toxic community for the most part. I'm not saying that there aren't, like, encouraging players or anything like that. There obviously are, and there's a really big amount of them to find, but a lot of what you find in terms of other players in League of Legends is mostly just ragers and people who are real tryhards or something like that. But overall, my impressions of League of Legends at first were, like I said, indifferent. But as I started getting into the game, and as I started to play more of it, it's pretty much consumed my entire life for the most part. Not really, that's an exaggeration. But I'm really appreciative of Nameless Nick and Comic Foil for getting me into the game. And what I would recommend to people who are thinking of playing this game, I will say this much. League of Legends is a great game. It is probably the #1 online game that is being played by millions upon millions of people. It's a great game for a lot of people. It has something for everyone, but it's not for everyone, you know what I mean? Overall, if you're going to think about playing League of Legends, be prepared to take some heat for it at the beginning, but once you get into it, you'll find a pretty awesome game under your hands.